Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the PG Show, where we talk about all things college football. And today we have to talk about the Oklahoma and Kansas State game kicking off Big 12 play. But before we do that, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know that you guys are here. Who do you guys think is going to win this game, and what player do you think will have the biggest day? Okay, OU is kicking off Big 12 play against the University of Kansas State, or Kansas State University. And this is the first real big test for Oklahoma. There's a lot to break down in this game and a lot that OU needs to watch out for, especially since OU's record versus Big 12 teams in the last decade. The worst team on that list is Kansas State at 6-4. Kansas State is a team that is historically causing Oklahoma problems, especially during the Lincoln Riley era. But y'all don't need me to tell you that. This is a series where OU is up in favor, 77-21 and 4 ties. But over the past decade, like we said, it's been a lot closer than maybe what a lot of OU fans would like. And Kansas State has had our number in Norman, Oklahoma. In 2012, they beat OU 24-19 in Norman. And then they came back 2 years later, beat us again 31-30. And then fast forward to 2020, they beat us again at home 38-35. So this is a Big 12 team that has had a lot of success versus the Sooners in Norman, where historically a lot of teams do not have success, especially a lot of Big 12 teams. I just want to run through the record of the Big 12 teams so that you guys can kind of get an idea of what that looks like. OU versus Kansas, 10-0. OU versus Tech, 10-0. OU versus West Virginia, 9-0. TCU, 10-1. Iowa State, 9-2. Oklahoma State, 8-2. Texas, 8-3. Baylor, 8-3. We come up to Kansas State 6-4. So this is a big game. It's a big game. And even though Kansas State lost last week, there's a lot of good things that Oklahoma can take away from this game if they play well. And one of the first things that I think is going to be a key for Oklahoma to win this game, and probably win it convincingly, is you got to be able to slow down or stop the run, right? Deuce Vaughn, he's one of the most versatile running backs in the country. He's going to be a first-round pick. He's going to be playing on Sundays. And this defensive line has to be ready for the challenge of not only maintaining Deuce Vaughn, but also keeping Adrian Martinez in check. Now, here's the thing. Kansas State is not a good passing team. I think when I look at it, they're passing for 115 yards a game. So Kansas State, they're not a good passing team. I think you can maybe go all in on the run game, kind of like what Tulane did last week, right? You saw that with Tulane. They went all in on the run game, and they told Adrian Martinez, you're going to have to pass the ball to beat us. And I think if OU does the same thing, you could potentially see a bigger victory than maybe what Tulane had at a 17-10. But you have guys on your defensive line like Jeffrey Johnson, Reggie Grimes, Jalen Redmond, Ethan Downs, Jordan Kelly. Guys like that can go in there, they can be physical, and they can stop. I think the important thing here is for the defense to be able to get off the field. So the reason why I make that so important is one of the ways that Kansas has really been able to cause problems for Oklahoma recently is they run the ball down your throat. They get you tired, right? And that's where they get you, is when they get you tired. You got your hands on your hips, hands on your head. You're trying to get some of that, get your oxygen back, right? You know, you're tired. They control the game clock. And so I think the important thing is the defense has to get off the field. They have to be able to contain Deuce Vaughn and Adrian Martinez. You need to be able to pretty much invest a lot of your defensive resources into that run game. Now, the cheetah roll is going to play a huge impact here because you're going to see Kansas State want to run a lot of RPOs like they did against Missouri. And so you want to be able to have Deshaun White or Jason Harrington or Jaron Kanak constantly spying on what Adrian Martinez is going to do, because you do not want Adrian Martinez to beat you. So we talked a little bit about it, but we cannot let K-State control and dictate the pace of this game. I think that is extremely important because that is, like I said, it's something that's plagued OU with Kansas State in the past. And if we can control and we can dictate the pace of this game, which I know is hard because we like to play this offense fast, but this offense might have to slow down a wee bit, get up 14-0 or whatever, and then start to run the ball a little bit, wear down this Kansas State defense, get that time of possession up. Don't give Kansas the opportunity to have 35 minutes in this game. If you do, OU has a real potential shot at giving this one up. All right, so the next thing I think is Dillon Gabriel needs to be accurate this game. So I feel like we know what we're going to get from our running game at this point, but I want to know, are we going to get consistency out of the passing game with Dillon Gabriel? And I think a lot of you guys are expecting the same thing. We've seen Dillon Gabriel make great passes. He makes passes that are NFL throws. You see quarterbacks on Sunday make those throws, but then he overshoots his receiver. And I want to see Dillon Gabriel maybe be a little bit more rested in the pocket, check his progressions, look down the field, and then I want to see him be accurate with those passes. And then also, if Dillon Gabriel has to get out of the pocket because he's sitting there a little too long, we've seen you use your legs last week, so use them again this week. Don't just go down in the pocket and lose 4 yards. That's going to give K-State momentum. And remember, this K-State defensive line and the K-State defense is really good. So this offensive line for Oklahoma this week has to be at their best because the Kansas State defense is going to cause problems if you allow them to push you around, which they definitely can do. So for OU, you got to slow down and stop the running game. You got to be able to control and dictate the pace of the game. Dillon Gabriel has to be more accurate, and this offensive line has to be able to have good run coverage and good pass coverage. Okay, so the line for this one is currently set at minus 12.5 in OU's favor. I actually think this one's going to probably be a 21 or 24-point win for OU. I do expect OU to come out and get a really hot start, and then for Jeff Lebby to try to control the pace of the game. I said it's one of my keys. I think Jeff Lebby knows that as well. They've definitely watched the tape of Kansas State over the past 3 years and seen the problems that they create for OU. And I don't think Jeff Lebby wants to be a victim to what Lincoln Riley has been a victim to for 6 or 7 years. So I think you see him get out early, but you kind of see what you saw against Nebraska where they're going to be heavy on the run game late. They're going to want to control this pace of the game, and they're going to want to wear this Kansas State defense out. And as you see the Kansas State defense get worn out, you're going to see more scores on the running game, and eventually you might see some more passes as well. So I've got OU winning this game 42, let's say they win it 42-17. But they'll at least be up by 24. So that's who I got for this game. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think about the Oklahoma Sooners versus the Kansas State Wildcats? This is a primetime game. Additionally, we got to talk about the recruits because there is some big-time recruits going to be here, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to pull that up for you guys. You're going to have Anthony Evans here, PJ Adebore, Johnny Bowens, who was originally, guys, if you remember, defensive line, originally committed to the University of Texas A&M. He decommitted, and he since has not recommitted anywhere else. So he will be in town this weekend. Additionally, Micah Tease will be in town. He's currently committed to the University of Arkansas. Brandon Drum and Parker Thune talk about it all the time. Follow the visits. There's a good chance that you could see Micah Tease potentially flip. There's a lot of buzz around that. Jacoby Johnson's going to be here. Now, there was rumors that David Hicks would potentially be in town. David Hicks is actually not going to be here, But with exciting news, David Hicks has actually moved up his commitment to September 28th. So you guys should stay in tune for that one because that's going to be an exciting commitment. There's also going to be a lot of 2024 and 2025 guys here. So I'm not going to go through and break down the list of all the 2024 and 2025 guys that are coming, but just keep that in mind. There are a lot of our future coming as well. So if OU lands David Hicks, Johnny Bowens, and Micah Tease, currently looking at a score of 296. It's going to securely put them at number 2, 10 points above the University of Texas. And that's without any potential flips as well from Peyton Bowen or Ryan Yates. So it's something to keep an eye on. It could be a really big recruiting weekend for OU, not only in 2023, but 2024. I think 2025 is too far to look out. I recently did an interview with Caden Knighton. For those of you who do not follow Oklahoma high school football, he is playing quarterback, running back, and a little bit of defense out there in Wynnewood, Oklahoma, putting up some fantastic numbers, but he has not currently been offered by OU yet. It sounds like OU is doing what what Dabo did in Clemson, where, hey, we're not going to offer you till you're at least a junior. So that's exciting. I'm excited for the recruiting weekend. It's 7 p.m. under the night lights. I expect OU to put out a show this weekend, not just on the field, but with all the lights and everything off the field. You've got the Selman brothers getting their statues. If you guys are going to be at this game, let me know where you guys sit at. Or if you guys got a tailgate, let me know. I would love to come out there. I would love to meet some of you guys. Comment that down below or hit me up in the Twitter DMs at thePGshow _. Additionally, if you see me in the stadium, someone's already done this before, stop me. Say hello. I would love to give you a shout out on the podcast. Who knows? I very well might buy you a drink or something. So go ahead, find me in the stadium. Let me know where you guys are sitting at. Let me know where you guys are tailgating at. I'd love to meet you guys. We got a lot of other Sooner stars coming back to this game. But until then, we'll see you guys next time.